welcome to Ewe Sew You. I'm Zoe and this is my channel about all my knitting and sewing and crafty business that I get up to. I just popped in for a quick video today to share with you my most recent finished project. I cast on this cardigan just over about 2 weeks ago. So it's been quite a quick knit for me. It normally takes me about a month to fit in the knitting of a jumper around my full-time job and so on, and all the other projects that take my fancy. But I've knitted almost exclusively on this for those 2 weeks and got it finished last night around about midnight. Steam blocked the front pans and everything. So this is the Throwback Sweater by Andrea Mowry, and you've probably seen quite a few of them around. So I won't talk too much about the pattern itself, just to say that if you're new to colour work, I would just bear in mind that there are a few rows where you're dealing with 3 different colours at the same time, so your yarn management is going to come to play there. But the colour work doesn't take very long to do, so it's not beyond the realms of possibility for somebody who's not done colour work before. It's knitted top down, it's knitted in the flat, and then you pick up the collar and the front bands afterwards, having done an initial block. So I've got on the inside my floats going on. I've not done too bad a job with my floats there, they're relatively even, and it's worsted weight, so it is quite a quick knit. The thickness of the yarn really makes it fly off the needles, and it actually dried relatively quickly. It just took a couple of days to get it wet blocked and dried, ready to pick up the front bands, which in my house is nothing short of phenomenal. No steeking needed because it's knitted in the flat. It would be easy enough to adapt into a in the round pullover or an in the round steeked cardigan if you so desired, but I didn't actually have any issues doing the colour work on the pearl back rows. There's 2 rows of each colour there, so you just go across and back with the same colour, so it was fairly straightforward. And compared to like a fingering weight sweater, it's not got as many stitches on the needle as you could have. So yeah, relatively simple despite the fact it's done colour work in the flat. Slight knitter error around here. I forgot to use the stretchy bind off on my cuffs, so my bind offs are a little bit on the tight side, but I mean it's fine. It's on the narrow part of my arm, and I always forget how fitted sleeves are on colour work sweaters. I think I would have liked something a little bit looser, so if I was going to knit it again I would be considering going up a size, not for the body, I like the fit on the body, but just for the sleeves to give me a little bit more wiggle room in there for layering up. But overall I'm really pleased with the sweater, and I will give you a bit of a twirl so that you can see it all the way around and see the length and see how it fits. But yeah, really happy with it. It's going to be great to wear to work underneath my jumpers, so I'll just insert a twirl here so that you can have a good look around. As you can see, it's a reasonable length. The sleeves come all the way down my arms, and if I want to I can open up the cuff and they're coming down here as well. I did a few extra rows on the sleeve before I did the rib, just because I knew that I wanted nice lengthy sleeves that I could do that with, and I did a few extra rows on the body as well, just because my yarn doesn't seem to grow as much as the yarn that Andrea did. So just to get the same sort of finished length, I just did a couple of extra rows just to give me a little bit more wiggle room. The yarn itself is worsted weight, it's universal yarns, so they're deluxe worsted, so it's 100% wool. No idea what breeds, it doesn't tell me, it just says wool, so I imagine it's a blend of a few. It is a woolly wool, so if you've got sensitivity to wool, you need to be looking at something else, because it does have a little bit of a prickle. It doesn't bother me particularly, I'm quite used to wearing prickly wool. But yeah, just bear in mind if you've got a more delicate skin than I have, that it is a prickly wool, but that's good for the colour work because it helps it grip. The main colour, so this colour here, is Gold Spice, and for that I used 4 balls, or 4 skeins. They are 100 gram skeins, and the meterage is 200 metres, 220 yards, so it's a reasonable length for a worsted weight skein of yarn. I have got, fell on the floor, this is how much yarn I've got left from those 4 skeins, and obviously I did swatch as well, but it's used the bulk of those 4 skeins. If it wasn't a colourwork sweater, I would have needed to go into a 5th skein, but overall it's pretty good on the yarn consumption. The greeny colour here is Chartreuse Olive, the blue is Teal Viper, and the sort of reddish brown is Rust Heather. And I think they work really quite well together. They're retro enough to get that sort of throwback feeling without being too 80s. So that's cool, and I've got most of the skein left for each of the 3 contrast colours. I did buy more of the Gold Spice because I wasn't sure what size I was going to knit. I wanted to make sure I had plenty, so I do have 3 skeins of the Gold Spice left and most of the skein of the 3 colours, so this yarn will be popping up in other projects. I'm envisaging one of those old 80s ski hats with a big massive pom-pom, but with the same colourwork chart on it. So all I need to do is work out stitch count. I should be able to put a hat together using Andrea's charts, so that'd be quite cool to have a matching hat to go with the sweater. They may possibly appear in mitts and things as well, who knows. But yes, I do have plenty of yarn left. I've actually probably got about enough to do, well, I definitely got enough to do a whole nother sweater if I wanted to. So I've got 3 of the Gold Spice and almost a full skein of the 3 colour contrasts, so I could do a few stripes in different colours to turn it into a sweater. So I've got options of what I can use that leftover yarn for, and I'll put a link to the Ravelry page for this project. I'm not going to do separate show notes for this particular video because all the information is on the Ravelry page. So now it's on to the next challenge, and I'm starting to think about what I want to learn in 2019. This year I've learnt brioche, I've learnt how to do steeking, I've learnt a little bit more about colourwork. I haven't really done much colourwork before this year. So there's quite a lot of stuff that I've picked up. I've learnt to do 2 at a time socks, toe up socks, whereas before I was doing socks 1 at a time, whereas doing it 2 at a time on magic loops is a lot, for me, a lot quicker because I don't get the same second sock syndrome. But I know not everybody likes it. For colourwork socks I'll probably still stick to doing them 1 at a time. So that's my knitting skills I've developed. I think next year I'll be looking to learn double knitting. So if you've got any recommendations for beginner double knitting patterns, I'd be more than willing to hear them. Put them onto my list for 2019. Sewing wise, I'm just going to keep trotting along, I think, and build up my skills there. So I don't sew very often, or I haven't been sewing very often until quite recently. I sort of on and off, as it were. So my skills are very much advanced beginner when it comes to sewing. I'm not the highest, I'm not professional standards for my sewing at all, but that is something that I'm aiming to develop as we move through the year. Obviously I've started weaving and I've started spinning, so those are 2 crafts that I'd like to develop the skills further in. I'm interested in doing a bit more needle felting. So I've got a long list of things to add on to my resolutions for next year. And I know it's not quite December yet, but I am starting to think ahead because I need to budget out and plan for getting the supplies and everything. So let me know if you guys have got any plans yet for 2019, or whether you're going to wait until New Year itself and then put the plans together, put a list together. So comment down below if you've got any plans already for 2019 or any recommendations, and hop on over to the Ravelry group, which you can find by searching Ewe Sew You under the groups tab. where I've got a bundle of man knitting patterns put up for you guys to share, and we have a little bit of chat in there about knitting projects and plans for the future, as well as commenting down below if you're not a Ravelry person. I can be followed on Instagram as ZozieM. On Ravelry I'm ZozieM, and I have a blog over at ewesewyu.com, so feel free to pop over there as well. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye for now.